everyone, it's Zelda again. I'm here today with a Top 5 Wednesday. I got this idea from other booktubers, but I decided to do this time the top 5 classics that I've read, and I've read these either through school or on my own, but either way I like them well enough to be put on this list because classics are an interesting thing, because not a lot of people like classics. A lot of people I know prefer YA to classics. I prefer YA to classics, but classics are classics. They're never going to be forgotten, and that's what's so great about classics. I mean, I hope to write a classic one day, but that's not going to happen. I mean, I think J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter series is a classic of its time. I think John Green and his books are going to be classics of the time. But now I'm going to talk about the classics that are considered classics today. So here is my top 5 favorite classics. Number 5, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Alright, so I have several editions of this book. I love Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray is just an amazing character. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you, because if you want to read it, I highly suggest reading it. It's an amazing book. It's about this guy named Dorian Gray, and he's a model for this portrait that this artist is painting. And under the influence of some other characters, he thinks that his beautiful face is what's most important and that he wishes he was young forever, and the wish kind of comes true with a price. Basically, instead of him aging, the portrait ages instead. However, with more crimes he commits, the uglier the painting gets. So, I really love this book. Dorian's hilarious. I love Lord Henry. There's some romance, there's some tragedy. It's got your basic elements in here. I have the picture version because there's awesome stuff in here. It's got the whole text and stuff. Anyway, it's a great book. I just started reading this again in college, and I loved it just the same. I forgot that about the language, how it's a little slow in the beginning. The language is a little thick and it's kind of hard to understand, but if you read it a few times, you'll surely love it as much as I did. However, a lot of people love this book and a lot of people hate this book. So, just like The Catcher in the Rye, it's not on this list. I hate that book. The next book I have for number 4 on this list is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This was a very interesting book. I read this in 10th grade. I have this cute comic version where the cover is comic and it has one of the best quotes on the cover in the back. It's hilarious. And it's got a wonderful plot. It's about this guy named Pip. Love that name. Pip. Pip Pip. And Pip is this young poor boy, and he gets this unknown founder that provides him with all this money to get into the rich society. He's in love with this girl named Estella, and she's kind of a bitch, but not a bitch at the same time. And it's one of her relatives is this creepy old woman, and she's in her wedding dress from like 60 years ago or something, and it's really creepy, but she's a fascinating character. This is my favorite Charles Dickens book, but there's tons of others that I would highly recommend. But I would suggest reading this if you are a societal kind of aspect person where you like it's a Bildungsroman kind of book from, like, you know, inexperience, innocence to experience, that kind of book. I thought this was really interesting because it provides both endings. There was an original ending that he wrote, but the people hated it so much that he was required to write another ending. So you can pick which ending you like better. I like the first one better because, I don't know, I think it's kind of appropriate. I think the original ending is best. Anyway, that's it. The next book on my list for number 3 is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This book is about this woman who goes and serves at this rich guy's house, and basically they fall in love, but there's some secrets in his closet that come back and haunt their relationship. So, skeletons in your closet aren't always best left there. You should get rid of them if you want to pursue a romance. That's the summary of this book. It's a longer book. It's a little hard to understand, but most classics are hard to understand, but give it time. It really grew on me. I didn't think I would like this book so much. But, yeah. I mean, I have the Barnes & Noble Classics version. Anyway, I would recommend this book for people who really like romance, who like the passionate, slow, rising tension romance. Less adventure, more just romance. So, romance lovers will probably love this book. Holding the number 2 position is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I loved how the story is written. It's a frame marriage, which means it's a story within a story. It's about this guy, Frankenstein, who basically invents the monster. For people out there, Frankenstein is the scientist, not the monster. The monster the entire time is referred to as the monster. So, sorry guys, Frankenstein is not a monster. Although, yeah, he's not a monster. Basically he invents this monster and he regrets what he's done, and basically the monster runs off, and wild goose chase and tragedy and hilarity, humor, romance, a little bit of romance, not that much, but some. In the original copy, in the original version, which I don't think this is it might be this version or not, I can't remember. There's incest involved, and I think that's hilarious. So I like the original copy better. So go for the original if you want incest. Don't go for the original if you don't like incest. Incest! Alright, there's not a lot more I can say about this book. The book that holds the number 1 spot is Night by Elie Wiesel. I was required to read this book in 9th grade because I'm Jewish and I went to a Jewish school. So, what better to learn more than the Holocaust? This is a true story. It's about Elie Wiesel and how he's in the concentration camps and how he struggles to survive, and how he's separated from his father and his family, and how he gets through the hard work of the concentration camps in Nazi Germany. It's incredibly tragic. It's completely true as true can be. He's an excellent writer. It's filled with metaphors and similes and excellent quotes. I could go on and on about these quotes. It's very short, it's quick, but you get hooked really fast. I would recommend this for anyone. Anyone who loves just a good story. This is just an amazing story because the things he goes through, the challenges, the suffering, it's just so intense and raw and emotional. This is one of the few books I've cried in, and I don't cry that often in books, but I love Elie Wiesel. He's great. There's other books written by him. I think I have one. Here it is. It's Rashi, talks about Rashi, Jewish guy. Lots of Judaism in his stories, but this one isn't. I think this is fiction. But it's really good, but I still prefer Night. I consider Night a classic. A lot of people don't. Tragic, huh? But his life is filled with tragedy. But other than that, I would suggest reading this. If you're not a big fan of tragic books, I would suggest reading it anyway. There is so much to learn in this book. It's amazing. But yeah, this is top 5 on Wednesday, and I'll see you next Wednesday.